Hello and welcome to Word Warehouse. In today's lesson, we're going to learn the irregular verb say. Say is one of the most common verbs in English. We use it when we talk about the words, information, or ideas that someone expresses. We'll look at its three forms, some common expressions, and, at the end, we'll compare say and tell in some typical situations. Let's get started. The verb forms say, said, said.
Say means to express something using words. We use say when we focus on the words, information, or message that someone expresses. For example,
She said she was tired.
he said he didn't know. I said something interesting. One of the most common structures is say plus something. For example, say something. Why are you so quiet? Say something.
What are you thinking about? Come on, say something, anything. Think about means to consider or have something in your mind. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking about quitting. I'm thinking about changing jobs.
She said something interesting. There are still tickets available for the concert. He didn't say anything. I asked him what was wrong, but he didn't say anything. He just stayed silent. I wanted to say something. We often use say plus that plus sentence. For example,
She said that she didn't know. I said that I would call later.
in everyday English, we can often leave out that. She said she didn't know. We use say with many common greetings, farewells, and polite expressions. In English, we use say to describe the words we say. For example, say hello. I said hello to my neighbors. Say goodbye. She said goodbye and left.
Say sorry. She said sorry for being late.
Say thank you. Don't forget to say thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to my parents, my friends, and everyone who supported me.
Say good morning. She always says good morning when she arrives at work. It's late. Say good night and go to bed. Say good night to Grandma and go to bed. Another very common expression is say it again. For example, sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you say it again? She said it again more slowly. We can also say it slowly. Say it louder. A useful expression is say what you mean. It means to express clearly what you really think or want to say. For example, just say what you mean. I don't understand what you're trying to say. We can use say something about. For example, he said something about his new job. She said something about moving to another city. I don't remember what he said about the meeting. We can also use say with indefinite pronouns. For example, say nothing. Please say nothing about this. Did she say anything? Did he say anything about the problem? She didn't say anything when I asked her. Different verb forms.
I always say what I think.
I'm just saying is often used to soften an opinion, criticism, or suggestion. It means something like, I'm only making a comment, or I'm not trying to argue. For example, that wasn't the best decision. I'm just saying. What are you saying? I'm just saying. You could have told me earlier. I'm not saying you shouldn't go. I'm just saying you should be careful. I'm not saying you should quit your job. I'm just saying you don't seem happy there. I realized I was wrong, so I said sorry. She said everything she wanted to say. I've never said that. She hadn't said anything about the layoffs until I asked her about them at the meeting. I had said I would go to the party, but I changed my mind. Useful expressions. I must say, we use this expression when we want to emphasize what we are about to say. For example,
I must say, I'm very impressed.
I must say, this is one of the best films I've seen.
let's just say, we can use this when we don't want to give all the details. For example, let's just say it wasn't a very good day. Let's just say I learned my lesson. It can be a slightly humorous way of avoiding a longer explanation. For example, why didn't you finish the report on time? Let's just say my 10-minute nap turned into a much longer one. Needless to say, this expression means that something is obvious or doesn't need to be explained. For example, we really liked the house and made an offer, but they turned it down. Needless to say, we were very disappointed. Turn down means to refuse or reject something that someone offers or suggests. She called me after 10 years without speaking to me. Needless to say, I was surprised.
I found a wallet in the street with a lot of money inside. Needless to say, I took it to the lost and found office. We left home 2 hours early. Needless to say, we arrived at the airport on time.
We can use, say that again, when we didn't hear or understand what someone said. For example, sorry. Say that again. What did you say? Say that again. Please. Say versus tell. Now let's look at some typical situations. For example, she said she was tired. She told me she was tired. Both sentences are correct. In the first sentence, we focus on what she said. In the second, we mention the person who received the information. When we report the actual words someone uses, say is very common. For example, she said, I'll call you later. She said, I'm tired. She looked worried, so I said, don't worry. Everything will be fine. My grandfather always said that when a fish was really fresh, its bones were as white as mother of pearl.
Remember, say, said belongs to a small group of irregular verbs with a similar pattern, such as pay, paid, paid, and lay, laid, laid. But remember that said has a different pronunciation. Said.
And remember the basic difference between say and tell. Say something. Tell someone something. The more you hear and use these structures, the easier they will become. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.